that museum, correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Berry was your assistant?
Yes, he was.
Now, while you were at that museum, you arranged a Jackson Pollock exhibition, correct?
Yes, it was supposed to be very lavish.
And you and Mr. Berry were accused of displaying forgeries in that exhibition, correct?
We weren't accused. There were just rumors going around that the paintings were forgeries. It was made by some disgruntled ex-employee.
Okay, so these rumors led to problems with Telfair's board of governors, correct?
I guess you could say that he believed the rumors, but he also hated the musicians that I had hired.
And these rumors also led to problems with the general public, correct?
Well, I'm not sure if they thought so because if the ticket sales were low, but I'm not sure if it was because of the rumors. Jackson Pollock isn't just for everyone.
Now, you thought this exhibition was going to be very successful, correct?
We thought so, but
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And you would attribute that to the rumors, correct?
Well, that and, I don't know, I guess the general public just didn't like Jackson Pollock.
Now, you ended up resigning from the Telfair Museum as a result of this, correct?
I did.
Okay, I'd like to talk about the Cherokee Rose painting. Now, you would ask Philip Newton to authenticate this painting, correct?
Yes.
And you gave him 2 weeks to do this.
About 2 weeks.
And he refused, correct?
He took it. He took the job, but he just was procrastinating and wasting time. And like she said, we only had 2 weeks. There wasn't much time to waste.
So you fired Philip Newton, correct?
Because he was unable to do the job and because of his outrageous behavior.
Now, on direct, you said that the night Philip Newton came into your office, April 1st, you had locked all the doors to the museum. Is that correct?
Yes, I made sure everything was secured. I was terrified when he came in because I don't know how he got in the museum.
Now, Dr. Dougherty, when you fired Mr. Newton, you also had him give you his key to the museum, correct?
Well, yes, but, I don't know if he made any extra copies of keys.
Okay, Ms. Dougherty, I'd like to move on to when the Cherokee Rose actually went missing. Now, when the Cherokee Rose went missing, Detective Talaliga did not arrest Mr. Newton, correct?
No, I don't know why. It was obvious he was the one who stole the painting.
Okay, now Detective Talaliga did contact you on March 23rd, correct?
Yes, notifying me that Philip, like I said, obviously, had recovered the painting because it was in his garage.
So you and Mr. Berry went to see this painting, correct?
Yes, we did.
And immediately upon viewing the painting, Mr. Berry shrieked, "That's not the Cherokee Rose," correct?
I wouldn't say he shrieked, but yes, he, in shock, said that's not the Cherokee Rose.
Immediately upon viewing the painting.
Pretty much immediately, like he saw the painting, and after he looked at it, he noticed that it wasn't the real painting.
Now, the police did not arrest Mr. Newton at this point either, correct?
No, Detective Talaliga said, well, it sure looks like a painting to me.
Now, you thought that Mr. Newton was going to give a statement to the insurance company and the police on April 2nd, 2008, correct?
I knew that he had an appointment with them. I didn't know if he was being questioned or if he voluntarily was going.
Okay. Now, Mr. Newton had previously called you a fraud, correct?
Previously.
I'd like to talk about the night that you killed Philip Newton. That was April 1st, correct?
Yes, it was.
So the day before he was scheduled to talk to the police, correct?
Yes.
Now, you left the museum that night at 6:30 p.m.
Yes.
And you returned at 8.
Yes, I did.
And you did not have your cell phone with you while you were gone, correct?
No, I didn't. As I said earlier, I had left it in my desk when I went to the lab.
So if you didn't have your cell phone with you, then you weren't sending any text messages, correct?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. You said you returned to your office at 8. Now, when you got to your office, you noticed your cell phone had received a message.
Yes, it was from Philip Newton asking me to call him.
So you had to search your desk for your phone?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to take a look at that text message that you sent. Your Honor, may I approach the witness with what has been entered into evidence as Exhibit 6? Dr. Dougherty, I'd like to direct your attention to the section in this document entitled Text Messages Sent and Received. Do you have a copy of this document? If you would look at text message number 6.
Yes.
Now that text message is from your phone, correct?
It's from my phone, but I didn't send it.
It went to Mr. Newton's phone, correct?
Yes.
On April 1st, 2008.
Yes, at 7:40 p.m.
And that text message says, "We need to resolve this," correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at the next text message. This one is from Mr. Newton's phone, correct?
Yes.
And it reads, "I'm busy."
Yes, it does.
Okay, now there's another text message then
which doesn't mean I was the one who sent it.
Now,
Objection, Your Honor. At this point, I'd like to see how this is relevant to the issue in dispute here.
So your objection is relevant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Response?
Your Honor, Ms. Dougherty has testified that she did not contact Philip Newton before, that she did not have her phone before 8 p.m. This is contradicted in this document. In fact, there is no communication with Philip Newton is contradicted.
Response?
Yes, Your Honor. The witness has already testified that she had left her phone at the museum, and she has also testified that she didn't send the messages.
We'll overrule the objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You called Mr. Newton on the night of April 1st, correct?
Yes, I did.
And this was at 8:07 p.m.
Yes, after I received a text message from him asking me to call him.
And shortly thereafter, Mr. Newton appeared at your office, correct?
Out of nowhere, and like I said earlier, I had no idea how he got in.
Now, when Mr. Newton showed up at your office, your gun was already loaded, correct?
Yes, why would I have an empty gun? That wouldn't do much to protect me.
Where in your office was Mr. Newton when you shot him?
He was in front of me, blocking me from the door.
And you did not move his body after you shot him, did you?
No, of course not.
I'd like to talk about what you did after you killed Philip Newton. Now, after you shot Philip Newton, you did not call the police first, correct?
No, I was just in a complete state of shock, and I should have called the police first, but Talbot was just the first person that came to mind. I wasn't thinking right.
So you called Mr. Varian first.
Yes,
And Mr. Varian did arrive at the museum.
yes he did.
And after he arrived, he told you to call the police, correct?
Yes, he was my moral support.
At which point you did call the police.
Yes, I did.
And I'd like to back up a little bit. I'd like to talk about what happened when you actually shot Mr. Newton. Now, I believe you testified on direct that there was a struggle, correct?
Yes, there was. He grabbed me, and I can't believe that happened.
That Mr. Newton hit your hand against the wall, correct?
Yes, he did.
And then at that point, he shoved you away from him, correct?
Yes, where I went behind my desk.
So the last physical action between you and Mr. Newton was him moving away from you, correct?
Where he shoved me to the ground forcefully.
He shoved you to the ground forcefully?
Yes.
Now, at this point, you moved behind your desk, correct?
Yes, I did. I wanted to get away from him.
And you were groping for a drawer in your desk, correct?
Yes.
This is a drawer where you keep your gun.
Yes.
So then after you started groping for this drawer, that's when you saw Mr. Newton reach for his pocket, correct?
I was groping for my drawer because this man had just physically assaulted me, and I wanted to protect myself. I didn't know what he was going to do next.
So Ms. Dougherty, you were groping for this drawer before you saw Mr. Newton put his hand in his pocket,
Yes.
correct?
And then he put his hand in his pocket, and I swear I thought he was going to pull out a gun. So I reached for my gun.
Now you thought that he was going to pull out a gun. You never actually checked to see if he had a gun, correct?
If I wasted time to check to see if he had a gun, I probably would have been dead.
So the answer to my question is yes, you did not actually check to see if Mr. Newton had a gun.
No, I didn't want to wait to get shot first.
No further